Growing up, not necessarily totally, consumed with church. Only just and my grandparents took us to church. My aunt took us to church. As siblings, as younger kids, we got moved around a lot. Didn't really have a stable home. Our home, we did move quite frequently. And the love that we were shown was love, but it wasn't very nourishing love. So I don't want to say our parents didn't love us, but it was just, there was a lot of stuff going on in their life to where it just wasn't very healthy. So both my parents wound up in prison. We ended up at my grandparents' house, me and my brother, for some time. And at that point there, that was like the only stability in a home that we actually seen how love was really shared among a really tight-knit family. So that was very difficult, during that time. And just to not have your mother, things of that nature. So I winded up, doing a little jail time. And that's whenever I winded up meeting Terrica in Louisville. So I wound up staying up here just to keep myself out of what I felt was an unhealthy environment. But it wasn't the environment that was unhealthy, it was me that was unhealthy. And I didn't realize that at the time, because even during that, after we got together, I still did, some very unhealthy things within our marriage and outside of our marriage. Now Dylan's first 10 years, was kind of, during our marriage rockiness. But the thing is that, even a lot of that was even held until it came to a head. It was a lot of stuff that was, beneath the surface that nobody knew anything about in my life, for quite some time. So it didn't affect them emotionally. It wasn't like they seen Dad, going out and, doing drugs or things of that nature. I always hid those things in my life. And it was kind of so it wasn't about worrying about where he was all weekend. It was, those things, I kept those in what I considered my personal time, but it was actually time I took away from my family. That could have destroyed everything that we have today. And that's one of the ways that, God did show His grace, through us, as far as, the damage that was done was repairable, even though it's unforgettable. And that was one of the burdens that I had, lifted off my back when I realized the grace of God. I still have feelings of like, I am so unworthy of that, but He still reassures me that I am.
I had similar situations as him, exposure to Jesus and church and things like that as a child, and I think I even look back and think I was prompted into saying some things that might have, if I really believed it and followed through with it, then I was saved, but I didn't. So, but I did have enough exposure, throughout my childhood and stuff to know that there is a God, and, He has a son named Jesus, and, it just took a while for me to realize that you kind of need Him. You do, a couple of, things that have happened in our life, and just got, led to the right people who said the right things, and it was like the Spirit was talking to me through them. I would say my acceptance of what He wanted me to do took a little longer. Some people know right away, yes. It took me here in a few months to really understand. I'm probably too literal, and so I was probably one of those people who are like, no, really, what do I have to do? What do I have to say? Like, how do I say it? I had a friend that was just like, there's no script, you just have to say it. So in the beginning of 2015, it'd been sporadic before that, but starting right around the beginning of 2015, his symptoms of throwing up every morning and just feeling weak in general, and various other like random dizzy spells and things were occurring, and they started getting more frequent. And told our pediatrician that something's not right. We need to know what's wrong with him. And he listened to us that day, and he was like, we need you to go for testing. We'll do labs. We'll do an MRI. So get to the MRI, have the MRI. I mean, Cameron's not even in the machine for 10 minutes, and our pediatrician is calling saying they have found a tumor, and we've got to get you admitted to, talk about surgery and other things. And so just to hear that, you're like kind of in denial. I was like, he's not even done yet. Are you talking about my kid? Are you sure you have the right kid or the right report? And he was like, well, they're going to finish up some images, but yeah, I mean, they know, what they're seeing, and so they'll let you know more once you go to the hospital. So you're going to leave there and go to the hospital. A lot of people kind of knew what Cameron was suffering through, and, we're praying for answers, and, it really wasn't the answer we wanted, but at least we knew what was wrong. He had surgery the very next day, and he just had a very long recovery. It was on his brainstem, and that did a lot of damage to try to remove it. We found out not too long after that it was not cancer, which was the biggest, hardest thought in our minds. Like, is this cancer? Honestly, being a nurse and knowing exactly what things, what treatments you have to do and different things, I was just really scared for my child. His recovery didn't really go probably. I don't think anybody can tell you how recovery is supposed to go after surgery like that, but it became evident really early that he was going to have lifelong issues, and that was hard. And really, honestly, probably the first couple weeks of all that, I don't know that we actually had a conversation about anything. You just were doing what you had to do.
Fresh on my mind was, with David and his baby, was the fact that, if the Lord decided to take him, I'll get to see him there. If he doesn't heal him, it was just because all that was going through my mind, and it's like, okay, am I over dramatizing this, or is he really this fragile? And I do think at those times, in the very first weeks of that, he was that fragile. I mean, I look back at the pictures now of this boy, and I'm thinking, man, he was a stick. He was physically unhealthy, and it was like we were so used to seeing him that it didn't register that he was, that he was as sick as he was.
We went swimming while we were on vacation, and we were all there, including some friends. That's who we were with, at a pool where they live. And there's no for sure answer of what happened. All we know is that Cameron was fine 1 minute, and then, not moving in the water literally within a minute. Thankfully, Dylan realized that he wasn't moving and pulled him up out of the water and was yelling at him. And Ray realized, and I realized there was something going on. And, I look over and my child is blue, and he's screaming, yell 911, and actually I had my phone in my hand, and I was like, gonna do it, and I was like, what am I doing? And I threw my phone down, and I was like, I got him pulled up, everybody was helping me, and I just started doing CPR on my child. That's hard. You don't think about it that minute. You think about it the minute after he starts breathing and talking, and you're like, oh my goodness. What just happened and what could have just happened?
Finding him in the pool, or being in the pool with him, during vacation was, another one of those situations of, God sparing this young man, one more time. And it's like, how many times are we going to go through this, Lord? I mean, is this a course that we need a reminder of, constantly? So I don't know. It's just one of those things. But, to sit there and losing your son, it's not easy, not only one time around, but then almost twice. one of the pictures that we took on vacation was him standing. And it's just a reminder, just how fragile life is. And, and it's just one of those things that you just take for granted daily about the situations that we're put in, and how we handle them. Seeing him, now experiencing, life. And it's one of those things. I just, with my background, I just pray that my boys, that I raise them right, and that I lead them to Jesus the best I can. And that's something that I always worry about, And I worry about it in my own life as far as, once again, I have done failed, but it's like, the Lord hasn't failed me. It's one of those things about just picking yourself back up, dusting your rear end off, and getting back into this thing. Because you are going to fall. So His grace is sufficient.
Dylan had rededicated at some point because of camp, which is great, and, we want him to get it right. We want him to know that it's true and everything. We're really proud of him. He's not real vocal about how this has affected him and, the things we've been through with Cameron. He's just always been the kid that did what he was supposed to do. And I think Preston was too little to really understand, why he had to go live with other people for a couple weeks or, that kind of thing. And for Preston, it just is what it is, He doesn't know any different. The last 5 years have really taught me that, believing in Jesus and knowing He died for your sins, and, that there's that promise of life with Him, an eternity. It's a thought where that sounds good and that's the answer we're supposed to say, but 5 years have said, 5 years for me has been like, well, that's something I say, and then now it's something I do, like trying to move from saying it, knowing it, and then doing it. And I struggle, with focusing on His word and, relying on Him for everything, and I'm sure a lot of Christians do. And saying it out loud is easy, but changing it is hard. So I work on it continually. You can't do this world, this life alone. And a lot of people look for that fulfillment in a partner or in kids or in money. And it's not any of those things. It's His love. It's His love and His presence and His sacrifice. And life's not going to be easy even with those things. But without them, it's nothing. You can't do it all.
It's like, Jesus dealt with the man's sin, before He dealt with his physical need. And I think that's something that we all need to reflect on, that we've had something way more than our marriage restored. Those are physical things that we can see, or our we've seen our son continually be ministered to, and our family. When you'd be in the hospital, whether you was reading or praying, either praying over him or things of that nature. Some people would get this idea that this tragedy is what brought us to God. Because now our son's laying here. A lot of times in the very beginning stages was very uncertain of what his life was going to be like. We were already grounded, so it wasn't that thing that brought us to faith in Christ, but it also gave us an opportunity to share our faith with people around us, that we're in similar situations. So it's a growing process. It's ask me this 20 years from now, and see where I'm at. Hopefully, I'm
still growing.
They're still growing, because I don't want to ever be heady enough to say, oh, I know it all, because I don't think we ever do. I think that's why God gives us just a little snippet at a time. He just gives us a little bit here and a little bit there. Keep that pride monster down.